The first day of early voting is now here. Dozens making their way into this voting center in Northwest Albuquerque Tuesday morning.
The anxiety that I feel about the outcome of the election, whether it goes one way or the other, is real.
Election day now underway. Bernalillo County Clerk Linda Stover tells us high voter turnout is expected this year.
We are expecting it. We have prepared for high voter turnout. Come and make your voice heard. Vote. This is so important. This is our democracy. This is our government.
From the presidential election,
Donald Trump actually has no plan for you, because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run.
To the U.S. Senate race and hotly contested congressional races.
We do have all of those. We do have all those people that are running, but more importantly, we have a lot of bonds on this issue.
Data from the United States Census Bureau shows the 2020 election had the largest increase of voter turnout of the 21st century.
The trajectory of our country depends on the voting that we do to make Washington cohesive and want to work for the people.
Eva Vasquez telling us this election by far is the most important one she has come across in her lifetime.
I've never been a little bit more frightened of an election than this one and the outcome.
And there's still time to cast your ballots early. Early voting ends November 2nd. In Albuquerque, Faith Ibuani, KOAT, Action 7 News.
Faith, thank you. This year's general election marks the first statewide election since a new law prohibiting guns from polling places took effect.
Democrat Representative Gabe Vasquez in Las Cruces today for a rally in honor of early voting starting. Take a listen.
The needs that we have in southern New Mexico, in Albuquerque, in southeast and southwest New Mexico are so important. And so the future of this very big district that's bigger than the size of Pennsylvania is going to depend on a representative who's going to be thoughtful, who's going to work in a bipartisan way, and who's not going to follow a partisan agenda.
And Vasquez's Republican opponent Yvette Harrell saying this, quote, "It's clear to me that the vast majority of New Mexicans have so much in common. We all want safer neighborhoods, lower costs, and a secure border. Now it's time to come together around those shared values and get out to the polls."
In addition to the dozens of local and national offices on the ballot, you'll also decide how millions of tax dollars will be used.
You are either for what the money is being raised to accomplish, or you're against it.
Target 7 takes a closer look at the fine print of ballot bonds, which services and facilities rely on the funding, and what happens to your taxes if they pass or fail. Our investigation continues on Action 7 News at 6. For everything you need to know, from getting absentee ballots to voting locations and key races in next month's elections, check out our election guide. It's available at KOAT.com and our app.
Well, it was another beautiful day at Balloon Fiesta Park with the 4th Mass Ascension. Lots of special shapes in the sky this morning. There are no evening events tonight, but don't worry, it's a busy morning tomorrow. It starts off with the Dawn Patrol show at 6, followed by the Krispy Kreme Morning Glow at 6:30. At 7, it's the Flight of the Nations Mass Ascension. The remote control balloons take flight at 7:30, and at 8, it is the chainsaw carving. Well, we have lucked out with great weather so far. So Byron, how's the rest of Fiesta looking?
It's looking pretty good because we have this dominant ridge of high pressure that's keeping us very quiet. And a live look at Balloon Fiesta Park, you see it right there. We got the Balloon Museum right here. Blue sky overhead, just mixed in with a few clouds out there. So 84 degrees reported from Balloon Fiesta Park right now. A light east-southeast breeze, very dry air in place, and that allows those temperatures not only to warm up quickly, but to cool off quickly too. So expect those chilly mornings to continue. Temperatures around the state looking at 80s and 70s for many areas. 81 on the Plaza in Santa Fe, 84 in Farmington, 70s for Taos and Raton and Las Vegas. Right now we have some clouds and even some spotty gusty showers and storms over the northern mountains, as well as the Sacramento Mountains and the Gila region. You see most temperatures very close to where they were yesterday, within a few degrees for the most part. Breeze is not too strong out there, but could be some stronger gusts with some of those showers that are scattered about. Let's go down to the Sacramento Mountains right now, and you see around Cloudcroft and also toward areas around Sacramento, we do have a few spotty gusty showers and storms. If you hear thunder, stay inside and away from windows. Also rolling off the northern mountains and into the western part of the state, we have a few of those showers and thunderstorms. High High pressure the rule, more nice weather ahead. All of your Balloon Fiesta forecast and let you know about some changes. The latest as well on Hurricane Milton. But first, get back to Darlene and Ron.
All right, Byron, thank you. Tomorrow you will need a ticket to get into Balloon Fiesta Park. General admission is $15. Children 12 and under get in free. You can buy them in advance at balloonfiesta.com or you can get them at the gate. No refunds available, but tickets for canceled events can be used for future sessions. And there's a lot to see and do at Balloon Fiesta along with the balloons. One, of course, is chainsaw carving. It's been a well-known attraction for many years during Balloon Fiesta. The carvers take large chunks of wood and sculpt them into incredible statues, benches, and other items you can have around your home. Some carvers even torch the wood to add darker coloring. These carvings are then either sold or auctioned off.
We kind of make it a little bit of a competition just to see who can get the most numbers, and sell the most pieces, or sell the piece for the highest amount of money. But yeah, we're competitive and we make it into a competition.
What a skill, too. You can check out the chainsaw carvings on the north side of Balloon Fiesta Park every day starting at 8 a.m. The auctions started the first weekend and continue Thursday.
While you're at the park, there are several places you can check out, including the Balloon Discovery Center. It features interactive exhibits like a basket showing kids what it's like to fly in a hot air balloon. Another demonstrates how the Albuquerque box works. You can even try your hand at weaving a balloon gondola. Last year, they had 38,000 visitors.
We know that we have a lot of visitors, so what we look forward to is just helping kids and getting kids excited about ballooning. And this year I think we're on track to beat that attendance record.
Kids can also get a special passport to collect stickers from the exhibits to win prizes. You can find the Discovery Center on the north side of the park, right by that chainsaw carving area. Well, we are bringing you Balloon Fiesta coverage all week. For a complete guide of this year's event, including a schedule and parking info, head to our website at KOAT.com.
Albuquerque City Councilors pushing back a vote that would allow city departments to use artificial intelligence. The plan requires city departments to create principles when using the tech, including the mayor's office and APD's real-time crime center. Departments would also need to create a group of experts to help develop the policy. Councilors voted to continue discussing the proposal at their next meeting, October 21st.
And also at last night's meeting, city councilors rejected a controversial proposal to address vacant buildings and sidewalks in downtown Albuquerque. It would have banned people from doing things like sleeping, sitting, or lying down along sidewalks. The proposal also would have required owners of vacant buildings to pay registration fees and follow other rules to keep the area around their buildings clean.
What are we going to do about the vacant landlords who've done nothing? And what are we going to do about crime and safety downtown? That people tend to believe that downtown's the worst place to be, and it's not. Things aren't well right now in our city. Whether it is vacant buildings, whether it's crime and safety, whether it's our lack of housing, so many different things.
Now, those against the proposal say it could target homeless people. Baca says he welcomes councilors to suggest changes after it was shot down.
Tonight, Bernalillo County Commissioners will start preparing for next year's legislative session. According to our partners at the Journal, county commissioners are considering a resolution outlining the county's budget request, as well as discussing their 4 legislative priorities, including more money to recruit city workers, more money to fight crime efforts, and affordable housing. The meeting begins in an hour.
Up next, rumors swirl around the fate of a local brewery chain. We speak with the owners on what's going on. Then new numbers out on crime in Santa Fe. Police share what's on the rise and on the decline.
Also, ghost guns are up for debate at the nation's highest court.
My company will never have a federal firearms license and therefore will never perform the NICS background check.
More on the push and push back on regulations justices will now have to consider.
And time now for Balloon Fiesta trivia. Today's question, how many pilots are at this year's event? We'll have that answer for you after the break.
KOAT Action 7 News.
Today, the Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments in a major case on ghost guns.
These are guns usually sold in parts online that can be self-assembled with no serial numbers, making them difficult to trace. ABC's Perry Rossum has more.
Today, the Supreme Court hearing arguments on regulations to ghost guns, virtually untraceable guns sold in parts online with no serial numbers.
But nothing in Congress's use of the term weapon suggests that it has to presently be functional as an instrument of combat in order to qualify.
According to the ATF, the number of ghost guns recovered by police skyrocketed, up more than 1,000% from 2017 to 2021. The case in front of the High Court centers around a 2022 executive action by President Biden, requiring companies to add serial numbers to ghost guns, run background checks on buyers, and verify buyers are at least 21 years old.
Since this rule has taken effect in 2022, and under other pressure brought to bear on the industry, including some lawsuits that we were involved in and other actions, we've actually seen the number of ghost gun recoveries at crime scenes start to come down.
Gun part makers and gun rights groups challenging Biden's executive action, arguing the rule exceeds ATF's authority, as weapons kits do not meet the definition of a firearm under the law.
Just like some individuals enjoy working on their car every weekend, some individuals want to construct their own firearms.
Cody Wilson is one of the largest manufacturers of gun parts kits.
We don't sell firearms, right? So my company will never have a federal firearms license and therefore will never perform the NICS background check.
The Supreme Court could make a ruling on this case by early next year. Perry Rossum, ABC News, Washington.
The man accused of shooting another man during a protest over a controversial statue in northern New Mexico accepting a plea deal. According to court records, Ryan Martinez opened fire after getting into a fight at the protest in Espanola last year. Jacob Johns was shot and hurt. Then yesterday in court, Martinez pleaded no contest to several charges, including aggravated assault. His trial was supposed to start this week, but instead, he'll now spend 4 years in prison. 200 months in prison for an Albuquerque man after a violent crime spree, according to court documents. In 2021, Prosopio Montoya Atkinson committed an armed robbery at a Dollar General. A month later, shoplifted knives from a gas station in Belen and attempted to hit employees with a car, also assaulting a Walmart employee around that time. In one arrest attempt, Atkinson pointed the gun at an officer and got away. The crime spree ended after Atkinson shot a man during a carjacking. That man did survive.
Well, crime in Santa Fe increased in August. That is according to a new report obtained by the New Mexican. Police dispatches were up 2.5% from July, according to the year-long increase in robberies, thefts, and adding to the year-long increase in robberies, thefts, and assaults. Most of the burglaries were concentrated to one area, along the commercial districts of Cerrillos Road and St. Francis Drive. But it is not all bad. Police say car thefts continue to decline.
Keeping your information safe, that is the primary goal of Northern New Mexico College's cybersecurity program. Now it's expanding. According to the New Mexican, the school is partnering with Los Alamos National Laboratory and the National Nuclear Security Administration to build a new center for cybersecurity. This will help them offer more degrees in this field. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announcing new goals for education in our state, something she hopes the rest of the country will follow. Notably, she wants to increase the state's education budget. According to our partners at the Journal, she addressed fossil fuel leaders yesterday, asking for millions of dollars for New Mexico's public schools, universities, and early childhood education.
They made more than 20,000 barrels last year, but still a local brewery is rumored to be closing its doors for good.
Corey Howard went by the downtown location to get more answers.
Yeah, Ron and Darlene, while Marlboro Brewery is rumored to be closing, it seems like the company is sticking with the present, saying that they are open for business.
It's like watching one of your loved ones or your best friends go under and you're like, well, what the hell, bro?
Local beer lovers concerned after rumors swirling on social media saying Marlboro Brewery could be closing for good. In response, the company releasing this statement: "We are open for business. Marlboro Brewery has been a craft beer pillar in Albuquerque for over 16 years. We take pride in our world-class beer.
The drinks are really good.
We are optimistic that there are positive things on the horizon for Marlboro, and we hope that you'll continue to stand by as we continue our journey in the New Mexico craft beer community." Supporters expressing their concern.
I think it would impact it a lot. I mean, it would cause a ripple effect a lot. You'd be surprised how much domino effect it would cause a lot of people and jobs.
The New Mexico Brewers Guild also telling us We're incredibly saddened to hear about the potential closure of Marble Brewery. They've been an integral part of the local beer community, and their unique brews will be deeply missed. Our thoughts are with their team, and we hope for a positive outcome. Marble asking the community for support by picking up a six-pack or heading to one of their locations.
Now, Marble Brewery did get back to us, and we're about to interview their managers here in a second, and stick with us at 10 o'clock for more about that interview. In the meantime, I'm Corey Howard reporting from downtown Albuquerque, KOAT, Action 7 News.
Corey, thank you. And KOAT did look through court filings, but did not find a bankruptcy as of now. Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'll take it over, I
go.
guess. Our Balloon Fiesta trivia question.
Trivia giver here.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I asked the question, I'll give you the answer. So the question was, how many pilots are at this year's Fiesta? This year, 546 pilots are registered for the event. 107 of those will be flying some of our favorites, those special shaped balloons.
We just saw the Brain and the Frankenstein. I like those two of my favorites the other day. I saw those.
Frankenstein's really cool.
I don't know if that's what his name is, but he looks like Frankenstein.
Yeah,
You know, it's like
my favorite is Cogsworth, the clock from Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's a big yellow clock. Hard to miss.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
But you know who's a Balloon Fiesta pro? This guy right here, Byron Morton.
I'm just listening and I'm learning so much, but yes, it is Frankenstein, so you got that right. And there are so many awesome balloons out there. My personal favorite this year, of course, the new Zozobra balloon, which is amazing. We saw it go up over the weekend and hope to see that again in the days to come. All right, so we've had 8 days in Albuquerque at 80 degrees or warmer for the month of October, which is 3 better than the average of 5 days. Last year we did it 11 times. We're going to do better than that this year, by the way. And the record is 20 days. The latest 80-degree temperature on record, November 5th, back in 1915. Live look at Balloon Fiesta Park right now. Things quiet out there, of course. No evening events for tonight. We do, of course, have the Ascension tomorrow morning. 85 degrees at the park right now. A light east-southeast breeze. We had great conditions for flying this morning. We're going to do it again tomorrow and likely the next several days, hoping for a 9-day stretch of perfect morning flying conditions. Temperatures across the state, 70s and 80s, 77 in Taos and also for Raton, 81 in Santa Fe, a 77 for Gallup. All of these temperatures well above average for this time of year, 90 in Roswell. That 82 in Albuquerque is well above the average of 74. Some breezes out there, not too strong though, and a few pop-up showers and storms, mainly over the higher terrain, the Sacramento Mountains around Cloudcroft. If you hear thunder, stay inside and away from windows, also south of Ruidoso, and a few of those trying to pop up across the northern mountains as well. High pressure is the rule. That's bringing us those quiet conditions. If you're stepping out this evening, it's going to be fantastic from the low 80s into the 70s. And statewide, Future Track Planner shows a few clouds around for tomorrow morning. It will be chilly, and then for the afternoon, watch out for a few of those pop-up storms, mainly over the higher terrain. Another good day for Thursday, and those temperatures in the morning, if you're heading to Balloon Fiesta Park, chilly in the 40s, but great for those ascensions. Looks really nice. Ron and Darlene.
Byron, thank you. Let's check on those roads now with Kiki Garcia and Traffic Watch 7.
Good afternoon. Well, unfortunately, we've got a crash already. Northbound 25 at Comanche, right near the construction zone. Be careful there. Definitely seeing some backups because of it. Again, it's northbound 25 near Comanche. Things are busy right there. We're also seeing a bit of a slowdown course near Montano. For News Radio 96.3 FM, I'm Kiki Garcia for Traffic Watch 7.
Kiki, thank you. Looking at these live drive times, Alameda I-25 to Coors 9 minutes, Paseo I-25 to Coors 8 minutes, and Montano I-25 to Coors 13 minutes.
And coming up next, a new study suggests some blood pressure readings may be off. Tips on making sure results are accurate. Then, if you don't have a lot of time to exercise, details on a routine that can get your workout done faster. We'll be right back.
KOAT Action 7 News.
Nearly 120 million adults have high blood pressure in the U.S. This is according to the CDC, but a new study suggests many may be getting inaccurate readings. So to get more accurate results, your arm should not be on your lap. It should also not be dangling unsupported at your side. Instead, it should be resting at chest height before the blood pressure is checked.
And then ideally, you would take 2 to 3 measurements, 30 to 60 seconds apart, and take the average of those measurements. And that part's important because everyone's blood pressure varies minute to minute, beat to beat. And in order to get closer to the truth, you want an average of those measurements.
She also says to empty your bladder, avoid exercise, tobacco, nicotine, and alcohol for at least 30 minutes beforehand. Sit with your back supported, feet on the floor, and be free of distractions so you can relax. Well, it can be tough for some people to have an exercise routine, but Dr. Ramos shows us one workout that has the same benefits, but in nearly half the time.
I'm a cardiologist specializing in cardiac rehabilitation, and many of my patients say they simply don't have enough time to exercise. Of course, they had plenty of time when they were in the coronary care unit. So what we do for people who hate to exercise is we use high-intensity interval training. That's bursts of very vigorous exercise, maybe for 30 seconds, and then a slower pace for about a minute. Studies have shown that that produces the same level of fitness, muscle strength, as well as fat loss as continuous exercise does. And a lot of my patients say it's much friendlier. So if you can take 20 minutes a day with high-intensity interval training, you'll do a lot for your heart and your waistline. For HealthBeat, I'm Dr. Barry Ramo, KOAT Action 7 News.
And coming up next, TikTok now facing separate lawsuits by 14 states.
Social media and MTA, they failed my son.
Why the video sharing platform is blamed for hurting young people's mental health. Plus, the 2024 election is said to be the most expensive in U.S. history. How much money is forecasted to be spent by the end of it? Then Hurricane Milton causing evacuations in Florida when it's set to make landfall.
WPT Action 7 News.
4 weeks to go until the election. VP Kamala Harris on a media blitz today, talking on The View and the Howard Stern Show.
Meanwhile, the Trump campaign confronting reports relating to the former president and Vladimir Putin. ABC's Perry Russum has more.
Vice President Kamala Harris talking policy on The View today, saying she wants to help what's called the sandwich generation, adults that are taking care of both their parents and their children.
Vice President Kamala Harris proposing changes to Medicare, saying if she wins in November, she plans to allow Medicare to cover in-home health care.
There are so many people in our country who are right in the middle. They're taking care of their kids and they're taking care of their aging parents. And it's just almost impossible to do it all, especially if they work.
Harris on a media marathon on The View this afternoon, one of 3 interviews airing today.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Harris later changing her answer.
You asked me what's the difference between Joe Biden and me. I'm going to have a Republican in my cabinet because I don't feel burdened by letting pride get in the way of a good idea.
Today, the Trump campaign denying reports in a new book by Bob Woodward that Trump has had as many as 7 private phone calls with Russian President Vladimir Putin since he left office. The Trump campaign calling Woodward's book Made Up Stories. New polling averages from 538 show Harris up nearly 3 percentage points nationally. Looking at the battleground states, Harris leads in 4 of the 7. Trump leads in the South and Southwest.
Both campaigns are focusing on the battleground states. Trump is in Pennsylvania tomorrow. He has 2 stops there. Vice President Kamala Harris travels to Nevada for a town hall on Thursday. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
This year's election is forecasted to be the nation's most expensive federal race ever. That according to Open Secrets, a nonpartisan organization. Analysis shows spending will hit at least $15.9 billion. Outside spending, including super PACs, is helping to drive up the price tag. It's already at $2.6 billion. In this cycle, the top 5 mega donors to outside groups all support Republicans.
Well, social media giant TikTok is now facing separate lawsuits filed by 14 states. This over what the suit claims is harmful effects on the mental health of American children and teens. The app's algorithm specifically targeted for being, quote, addictive, resulting in teens and kids to stay online for longer periods of time, which the lawsuits allege lead to mental health damage.
We wanted to protect children. It's as simple as that. Because nationwide, children and teens are struggling with significantly high rates of depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and other mental health issues, largely because of social media.
Now, TikTok responding, saying for the past 2 years, they've been trying to work with the attorneys general to find, quote, constructive solutions to industry-wide challenges. They are committed to the work they're doing to protect teens and improve their product.
Hurricane Milton bumped back up to a Category 5 storm, now a massive and historic threat. Up to 15 feet of storm surge is possible along Florida's west coast in areas that are still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Landfall is expected sometime late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, and there are mandatory evacuations in parts of 6 Florida counties as this powerful storm takes aim.
I want to urge everyone, if you've been ordered to evacuate, those evacuations orders are serious and you absolutely must follow them.
Milton has quickly become